Hello, welcome back, beloved, divine feminine being. I am so happy to be back here relaying another Venus message for the feminine collective, and we're going to get right into it. So this one's a slightly different because it came through first yesterday when I was watching this particular show, a series or docu-series really. Maybe you've heard of it before. It is about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders on Netflix. And I have not finished watching it yet. I don't even remember what year it's from. I think it might be in the early 2020s. Or maybe it's 2024 even. However, regardless of all of that information, the gist here that's related to what I'm sharing with you today from that docuseries is that I learned that these women who are a part of this cheer team, that they do make more than $100,000 per year, and a lot of them don't even make that unless they are a seasoned Dallas Cowboys cheerleader and have been there, say, maybe 3 to 5 years plus. So it takes them quite a while to even get up to that, 6-figure mark, and the beginning of the 6-figure mark, right? Because it's 100,000. And, many of them starting out and like even later down the line when they are seasoned are still making $15 to $20 per hour. And they are not happy with the pay. Many of them are still working 9-to-5 jobs or 3 other jobs, multiple of them, shared their story, how they're working 3 other jobs, some of them who have a background, an educational background in a particular industry, and they've got a degree, and they were blessed enough, we'll say here, lucky enough to use that to get offered an opportunity at a particular law firm or something of the sort, right? Or in cosmetology or dermatology or anything of that sort. So the gist here is that something that one of the women in particular was saying, or that she said in the last episode that I watched, when there was the topic, around the income from being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, she said that she loves what she's doing and that it's a privilege to have the opportunity to be doing what she loves as a dancer with the Dallas Cowboys team. And her expression really just brought me to this place of, but she's also miserable in the other things that she's doing. She's not passionate about them, and she feels burnt out. She was also expressing when she was describing the other jobs that she has. And I just really got the ick. Like, I have to be so honest, you already know. Very audacious here in expressing this to you, because I believe that this is where many of you and many women in general here in the world are at when it comes to, it's just this, people in general, but we're talking women here, right? The feminine. And that there's this narrative, there's this idea that you can't love what you're doing every single day and become a millionaire from it and have financial, security and stability and growth. It can't be lucrative to love what you do every day, and that is BS. That is absolute BS. That is not the truth. That is scarcity. That is poverty mindset in play. And it's far from, by the way, what God, what divine, what the universe has intended for us. It is meant that we love what we do. That's the alignment, right? That's given by God, the gifts, the skills, the talents, right? The desires, the things that bring us in our creative expression so much joy to create, that we magnetize when we feel safe to do it and receive from it, and not block or sabotage ourselves from receiving from that by creating this narrative and this story that it's wrong and that it's enough of a privilege. It's a privilege enough. No, it's not a privilege. It is destined that you are an artist, that you are creating and expressing yourself artistically, that you are AKA honoring your feminine energetic principle. And honoring that also means that you receive, because the feminine is first and foremost about receiving. And another woman who's also a seasoned cheerleader there, she has a story about having alopecia, but that this didn't stop her, right, from being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, from going for it still after losing her hair. And she continued with what she loves. And she was also still one of those women, a part of this conversation, who has not yet received lucrative, financial opportunity, wealth, locked in from being this Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. And I just, had this idea come to my mind of like all these thoughts, all these ideas of what is wrong, in their mindsets, in their approach. Yes, with the, company itself, yeah. But we have to advocate for that for ourselves. That's called being in our power, our personal power, as I talked about in the last video and a few other videos. And that this story of hers, let alone, the advocating for receiving more as the cheerleader, who's a seasoned cheerleader. They don't even have health insurance provided by this team. It's crazy. But let alone that, right? But also that she could turn her pain story, it's magnetic. She could turn it into wealth. She could turn it, that's a testimony. God has intended, divine has intended for us to share, that's the testimony. Our pain stories, our trials and tribulations, our struggles, because it could serve not only us, increase our, income, but it will have a ripple effect, a domino effect out into other young girls and women who see her embracing this story and transmuting, alchemizing, magnetizing, turning it into not just money, but something that serves here in the material for herself. And she said something toward the end of that conversation, like, you know, I just want to walk out of here, like retire from there, not the same financially as I was when I came in. And I think that these women don't, as many of you don't, recognize the power that you have in protecting your own inner feminine, in protecting your receiving. And not only that, but you, of course, which we'll get into more here with a dream that I had last night, that you shame, which goes back to what that other woman said about it's a privilege. I know it's a privilege to dance here, and you know, it's a privilege. But there's a shame, there's a guilt for the desiring more. And that is oftentimes not recognizable. But that's where we have to start. And so then, of course, after I watch this and I have these thoughts and, you know, the ick come up, and I can't help but connect it to, you know, the astrological energies, archetypes, because this is what I do. This is a part of my gift, my expression, my vision. And so I thought about Pluto energy, I thought about the 8th house, I thought about Scorpio energy, which we talked about in the last video, and how, again, Pluto points to personal power, Scorpio 8th house points to personal power. It's actually your receiving. It's very much connected to the material pleasures being received, being magnetized, but that it takes place through doing that inner work. It is spiritual work here, shadow work here, yeah. But it's doing the inner work to rebalance here your inner feminine and inner masculine, and not cut off one or the other. And it's the recognizing of, and we have Pluto, of course, showing up here as I'm talking about this, and split the deck. It is, I forgot exactly what I was going to say because Pluto showed up. All right, let's get into the cards. That's what I'm feeling. After I talk about, or while I talk about this dream, so won't go too into detail, but the gist of my dream was that I was in this beautiful place. It looked like Bora Bora or something, okay? Like I was on this island vacation with my partner, with my man, and it was gorgeous, all right, luxurious. And we arrived in this hotel room that he, you know, had got for us, and it was gorgeous. And I was the first one to walk in, so I saw, it was like there was this floor, really nice like rug, but it was also like cushiony, like a sitting area or even a resting area with pillows and candles, and it was gorgeous. And there was also, as I squatted down and looked at it, there was this. Maybe you've seen this in one of my other Venus messages before, but this is Sekhmet, okay? This is Sekhmet, and she's the goddess, the ancient Egyptian goddess of death and transformation. And she is directly connected to Pluto. All right. She's directly connected to Pluto. She's also connected to Leo and the sun energy. She's connected to Scorpio. Okay. So it's this joy and recognizing one's personal power in experiencing that joy, the pleasures, receiving here in the material. All right. And yeah, like then on the actual bed, the beautiful bed that was set up in the room, there was like red and white colors and gold, and it was gorgeous. And there was a pillow I saw when I turned over from looking at the floor, set up with the Sekhmet thing there. I turn over and I see this cushion that is embroidered with my name and it's in red, and it's beautiful on the bed. And literally, you guys, I was there with my partner. We were just like in such a pleasurable, magnetic, like it was just it was juicy, it was delicious energy in that room. And then in comes, maybe you've heard of this before, it was very strange. I was trying to figure out who they were at first, but upon waking up this morning and remembering the dream, I got it. I received who they were. And they were the Bebe's kids. Maybe you've heard of this before. Maybe you haven't. That's all right if you haven't. Maybe you can look it up. I swear to you, it was like 8 of them just came stumbling into the room, and it wasn't like they were wreaking havoc, but their energy alone caused me to get into this chaotic energy, it was like I set aside the pleasure that I was experiencing with my partner there in that space, in that beautiful, luxurious, delicious energy in that room. And I was like, oh, I need to attend to them. It was crazy. I was like trying to feed them and no, don't do this, don't do that. I needed to go into the shower or the bathroom to rinse off something that they made a mess with on me. And the water just started going all over the place. I couldn't figure things out. It just turned into chaos because I set aside I gave away my personal power. I set aside my pleasure for shame and guilt that I needed to, as a woman, which women are often doing, attend to those kids and attend to that chaotic energy. And something that came through also when I was, going into unpacking this dream, what my subconscious was trying to tell me was that not only was I setting aside my own pleasure, right, from the place of shame and guilt, but that the shame and guilt was rooted in not even just having or desiring the things, but that will my family, will my family, will the people that I love and care for, do I need to hide this from them? Do I need to, it was like this energy of like, will they have it too? Yeah, look, we have the moon, the high priestess energy here. There's a shadow aspect here that I'm sensing with this card. And it does say she will bring to light the unhealed and wounded parts of yourself, the queen of the underworld. Persephone. Pluto energy again. Even though it's the moon and the high priestess, that is Persephone's plutonic energy. And yeah, it just really came through as this like, oh, I'm I'm experiencing shame, I'm experiencing guilt because, of these things that I desire to have, the money, here in the material, the luxury lifestyle and experiences, because I don't know if my family will have it. I don't know if these people, that have I've been around or that know me even, right? We don't necessarily even have such a close connection, but that know me, right? Will they have it too? And we really do that. We really sabotage, which also the 8th house energy does tell us about that. Because again, it's about receiving in the material here. It is directly connected to your receiving, and especially money. And we have the Chariot and Judgment, Cancer and Pluto energy here. It's this like, you want to move forward with the Chariot here. There is movement, there is victory, there is the receiving. The stepping into that next level here is available to you in terms of your material reality and desired experiences, what you want materially. But Judgment and Pluto energy here, it says you need to awaken to a new solution. It says the lotus of rebirth on here. It's like you need to discern what actually has been keeping you in yourself, because it's the 8th house, self-sabotage actually. It might be chaos on the outside, but we sabotage ourselves by allowing the chaos, by allowing the doubt, by allowing the external energies to keep us from advocating, and therefore receiving that which we deserve and desire. And it says a redirection and awakening on here. And I'm telling you, it's so necessary to awaken right now. This past full moon, the Scorpio full moon that we had, was a major reality check of this energy here. What is keeping you from inside of yourself, really, here? The wounded parts of yourself, what are they that are holding you back from being in your personal power here in your material 3D human experience? From having that which you actually are meant to have, that God has intended for you in your life. And it's like, once we reach this Sagittarius full moon that's coming up in the next week, we are literally going to, it's ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter and Sagittarius coming in like, oh yeah, I just came by, surprise check-in to see if you're really actually embodying that which you just recognize you're meant to with that past full moon. That which you recognize you're worthy of with that Taurus new moon. I just came in to check, came by to check up on you. Because I'm the one who's rewarding. I make things, I expand things. I'm the one who's going to bring you that fortune. That's the Sagittarius full moon that's coming up, all right? So if you don't recognize your magic, your personal power here, and that which holds you back within yourself, your fears, your shames, your guilts, your doubts, all of that, says the forbidden you. Open the forbidden you. Discover your secrets, fears, phobias, and demons. so that you can use that, transmute it. That's also what the 8th house, 9th house, Scorpio, Sagittarius energy is about. It's, like I said, with Sekhmet, the goddess of death, rebirth, transformation. That guilt, that shame, that narrative has to die so that you can be reborn into and embodying actively here in your physical reality, not just in your head, not just imagined, but acting on it. Speaking up for yourself. I just felt it. My gosh, I am burping. If you know that I'm, when I'm channeling and I'm burping, it is confirmation of what I'm saying, okay? But excuse me, I'm burping a lot. I just felt to literally go to the back of the deck, turn it over, and there's Sekhmet and the sun. I can't make it up. All right? Sekhmet shines on you to set new goals, it says. Courage, light, and joy, time to dance in the sun. And like I said, the sun is connected to Leo energy. The sun is connected to the 5th house. It's your essence, your joy expressed. And the belief that you magnetize from there. Not holding back, no matter what is going on with the people that you love. All right, let me tell you something, and I feel like it's gonna come out in the tarot here too, but I was considering a business partnership. I sort of began it. There was no like really contracts and stuff yet. It was like verbal, verbally discussing and trying things out. But from a place of such misalignment, actually, right? This is before where I'm at now in my mindset and my personal power. When it comes to my money, when it comes to my love life, really and truly here, my inner feminine and masculine energetic principles. And the magnetism, recognizing the magnetism within having those balanced and honored, all right, in my actions. And so I was, considering this business partnership with this woman who I was friends with, at least I thought. And, this person would often say things like, community, connections, love, community, when it came to the purpose of her vision, her brand, and her, for her business, right? And I thought that was so beautiful, but something that I started to recognize was that, money is inevitable, right? It is the purpose. ROI, right, is a big part of the purpose of having a business. And, selling, right? And when I started to recognize this, and I just felt this wave come over me of, to create my astrology course, the Sisters of the Stars, and to run with it, like to trust this creative energy that was flowing, all right, from within and out of me into this art piece, this creation, to share it with the collective, my audience, right, that's meant to find it and utilize it. And I was literally ready to put it out there. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do this with her. And because astrology and sharing information on it was already a part of, our business vision. as in terms of partnering. And I thought, okay, yes, this is something that it supports, the vision that she has and that I have. I thought this is aligned. It makes sense to utilize, her vision and combine it. This is the collaboration here with my expertise, with I was already contributing, again, the astrology. And the moment that I put it out there to her, that I was ready to monetize this, that I wanted to launch this, even if the entire course wasn't finished yet. It was about that I had the foundation laid, and before I was pouring everything into all 16 modules being done, that I had women who were interested and showing up, that they were ready, right? And yeah, she pretty much expressed to me that it was all about, that I was only about the money. And she shamed me for wanting to receive monetarily, financially from this launch, from this art, from this creation. And she wrote in like a whole essay of a text to me about this. And before all of that happened, I expressed to this person, because I am quite structured myself. That's just, I'm Sagittarius, Pisces, but I've got lots of Capricorn. That balances, right? That visionary, ethereal, part of me. So that's why I call my signature style ethereal ambition. And I expressed to her, when she said to me, oh, I don't know how to make money from these things that I envision, that I want to do. I literally sat down with her at a park one day. I wrote down for her, I said, well, you have to take it step by step. There has to be a structure, actually. It's hard sometimes for the feminine, because we want to be just in this flow, but we have to honor our inner masculine too, that says, which is actually protecting our inner feminine, our creatress, our receiving, right? And the inner masculine says, all right, this is how we're going to take it step by step to honor this inner feminine flow and the creation, right? To honor it here in the material world and receiving from it. And so that structure has to happen. And I said, let's get the website going. We're going to take it step by step. You have such a big vision. You have many things that you want to be all encompassed, in this brand. And it all does fit together, but you have to take it one by one. So I said, focus on 3 to 4 things. I think I even said 3 things, to start with, right? And putting on the website. And maybe a few weeks later, it was chaos. All right, it was chaos. The structure went out the window. What I expressed, what I wrote down, was not being utilized. It very much went into this, again, back to what it was before. The dream and the vision, but without the structure and the focus on community, and not that the community could also and should also pour into water the seeds that we were sowing for us to, experience this harvest and share that harvest, the income with our community, and to expand to do more for the community, right? And so the moment that I expressed this with feminine communication, with grace, with love and kindness, but honesty, It was just that I was all about the money. And I decided to just let go. I decided to begin to surround myself with people, who, even in my consuming, right, online, look at that, the Eight of Cups. I decided to let go and walk away. Up the stairs, the next level of what God had really intended for me. This is Scorpio energy, by the way, 8th house energy as well, the Eight of Cups. But that's what I decided, to surround myself with people who, like I said, even in what I consume, the books that I read, the podcasts that I listen to, the channels here that I listen to, things that supported me in this clarity that I had and the truth about money, about artistry, creating, the feminine and the masculine, being in balance and in harmony here. And I just totally let go of the connections that told me to play small, that told me I should feel guilty or ashamed of wanting more, or that I had to carry the weight of receiving the more, getting, working hard for the more, for the increase, and then hand it out, right, to them. I don't do handouts. That was also something that came up from my dream. The feminine that really, truly honors herself does not do handouts and does not allow the shame or the guilt of, oh, well, if I up level, will they? Or, oh, maybe I won't be around them as much anymore. Or, no, it's letting go of that and being a model for them, encouraging them back into their own personal power is what you are supposed to be doing. Your testimony is enough. Put them back into the position with your words, with your encouragement of being in their own personal power here, to honor the magnetism of their inner feminine, inner masculine balance, working in harmony, attracting, magnetizing that which they are meant to have in the material. I'm telling you, the past, that guilt, it's in the reverse, is Three of Swords here. It's over and done. I told you, the shame, the guilt has to die with death here. It needs to be transformed and transmuted. I feel called to put this here. I'm just going to do it. No more. And I just want to urge you that prior to this Sagittarius full moon coming up, I don't remember the exact date. I think it's in a week, maybe a little less now, but I want to urge you that you fall into the alignment here, embodiment, right, of and just do it through advocating for yourself. I promise you, you will be rewarded. Even though this is a full moon, coming up, and it's about, releasing, completing old cycles, right? It's Sagittarius and Jupiter energy, so it has a new moon aspect to it. And it is through the new approach of how you are proactive that this death happens of the guilt. It naturally falls away from you. as you step into this energy here, we have the Page of Swords and the King of Wands. This is Sagittarius energy, and it is a masculine energy. It's like it's communicating with you with the Page of Swords. There's an invitation from this part of yourself to protect your inner feminine, receiving that which you are meant to receive in the material, financially, the house, that you envision, the car, whatever it is, because this is a big part of your testimony and God's intention over your life. All right? It's time for you to move forward with the Chariot and the Queen of Pentacles, claiming what you desire through your actions. No longer sabotaging yourself. You have discernment here. If it's those kind of people, those kind of women, right? Those friends, quote unquote, family, whoever it is, you allow that to take place. So stop the self-sabotage. Let's wrap up this message. Look into your 8th house energy here. If you don't understand how to decode your own astrology, tap into the Celestial Code Masterclass in the description box below. And I promise you, you will understand it all after that. Because it pertains to your money, it pertains to your career, your professional life, the luxury. It pertains to love as well. Now is the time to integrate all that I have gathered. Yep. You have enough information about who and what. Look at that. Healthy boundaries to keep me centered and balanced. Who and what is keeping you from that which you know you want inside of yourself and within other people, other environments, things that you say yes to that you should say no to, things that you say yes to that you should say yes under one condition. I need more of this. Movement awakens my creative spirit. This is so funny because the Chariot is about movement. It came through twice, right? With here and the other tarot. And I was just in such an energy here of dancing this morning. And I like to do that sometimes in the morning to really get me into this creative energy, because I feel the most creative and inspired in the mornings. I would say in the mornings and through the early afternoon. And this is also a way, as it says, you're at home in your body and at peace in your spirit here, that your body, especially regarding what it is that you're listening to when you're dancing, locks in. I'm telling you, we talked about this before. Your body feeling safe, your nervous system feeling safe to desire, to experience the pleasure from having that which you do desire, with that which you do envision and imagine experiencing. And it's like doing something to your body or through your body here in your reality. I promise you. So get into your body through movement so that movement can also take place in your mindset. Shifting from one mindset to the next, movement takes place and you're being proactive and advocating for yourself. All right. And then movement takes place in your finances, in your love life, in your receiving, in the material. So again, tap into the Celestial Code in the description box below to unlock and activate the codes of your personal chart, especially your 8th house. And I will see you in the next Venus message.